everybody. Happy Sunday. You are watching FCN Prime News, the Sunday edition. I am your host, as always, at Trezene, and I am so glad to be with you guys again this week for the Sunday edition. We have a great lineup for you today. You look at the title of today's show, we're going to be talking about a couple of things. One is we're going to be talking about Lupita Nyong'o and Weinstein, and we're going to delve into a topic of millennials. But I have first with me Jana Matthews. She's joining us today for our first topic. Jana, say hello to everybody who's out there watching.
Hello, everyone.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all you got?
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. I'm at JMattLaughs on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm excited to talk about this.
Why are you excited to talk about Lupita and Weinstein? For those who watched last week's Sunday edition, we definitely went in on Weinstein, but there's been a new development over the last week involving Lupita. And
I guess when I say excited, that might not have been the best choice of words. I'm angry and upset because for some reason, you know, it was okay when everybody else said it, but now that Lupita has said that he's been inappropriate with her, he wants to come out and say, oh no, she's thought about it wrong, and that's not true. And it's upsetting. It gets me upset that when we say something, and when I say we, I mean African American women. Oops, I'm sorry, I touched my boob and my mic. But when we talk about things, it's not true, or we thought of it wrong. She has nothing to lose. Why would she lie about him? I mean, absolutely no reason.
For those who may not have heard about this, because there's a few people that I have talked to over the last few days who were like, wait, what? Lupita said something? Like, what happened? We do have a video clip that we'd love to roll for you. You guys can watch to get caught up on that.
Actress Lupita Nyong'o recently shared stories of her encounters with Harvey Weinstein from before she was famous, revealing that the Hollywood mogul told her she'd be successful in Hollywood if she slept with him. Nyong'o, who won Best Supporting Actress Oscar in 2014 for 12 Years a Slave, penned an op-ed for the New York Times on Thursday in which she recalls meeting Weinstein while she was still studying at Yale's drama school. Nyong'o said shortly after meeting Weinstein, he invited her for a film screening at his home. She said, Harvey led me into a bedroom, his bedroom, and announced that he wanted to give me a massage. I thought he was joking at first. He was not. She said later at a dinner, Weinstein bluntly stated that their relationship should become sexual. When she refused, she recalls, he told me not to be so naive. If I wanted to be an actress, then I had to be willing to do this sort of thing.
Okay, so here's what got me about this. So I didn't see any videos. I didn't, know what happened. I just saw it on Twitter, I think, where it was like Lupita has claims of harassment. And then, you click, you look into it, and then I realized that she tells of this not by doing some Twitter thread, not by, just making some quick post, that she does a huge op-ed in the New York Times.
Right. In the New York Times, right. So it's not right. It's not fly by night. She thought about it. I think part of it is in response to the Me Too hashtag that's come about in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, that's right.
When they first attributed to Alyssa Milano.
Right.
But there was actually an African American woman who's been doing. I can't recall her name right now.
Yeah, me neither.
But she's been doing the Me Too as for avenue for those who've been sexually harassed or violated to gain strength and be empowered. And so people have been doing that. And so I think from that, you can't help but see what's going on and not have memories come up. And thank goodness Lupita has been successful in spite of what he may have done to try to thwart her abilities to be successful. But she took the time. She took the time and walked through it. And when you read it, the things that he did, I guess his go-to was like a massage, which we all probably can respond. You all know the massage is the gateway to everything else.
Listen, first of all, can we talk about the massage? Like, that is like the go-to. Like, hey, girl, why don't you just let me rub your shoulders a little bit?
And this is so sad. I just got a massage at by a professional, and they asked when was the last time I got one. And I was like, it had to be 2000 when I was studying for a very important test. But I realized I had other ones from fake massage people. But it was consensual, so I'm not trying to say, but I realized that they didn't know what they were doing. Just say what you want. Don't tell me you're gonna give me a massage because it ain't the same.
just say what you want.
No.
In that op-ed article, she tells of how, he invited her to his home.
Right.
She said that she was lured into his bedroom with his children in a nearby room watching a movie.
A nearby soundproof room.
Yes.
So she's like, I can't scream because everybody in the house was in the soundproof room watching the movie while he took her on a tour to his bedroom.
Yes, which is like such a huge red flag of, you have a soundproof room,
right?
Like, what? Okay, right? It says that, when he offered the massage, that she said that she in return said, no, let me give you a massage.
Right.
And then she explained why she did that. She said, I felt I would be more in control of the situation if I was the one behind him and I could see where his hands were. And that really struck me.
Yeah.
That really struck me, that the immediate response from women or whomever, men too, when you're put in these situations, it's that you're like, do I run? Do I go? Like, oh, well, let me just at least try to turn this table a little bit to still keep myself protected, but not lose the opportunity that might come my way. That really struck me.
Well, she read the article. She did take the time, because you want to take control of the situation as best as possible. She was still a student, I think, in grad school at Yale, and so he says, I want to give you a massage, and wouldn't take no for an answer. Right. Which she had experienced before. They had dinner, and she ordered a juice, and he ordered Diet Coke and Diet Soda and vodka, and she said, I just want juice, and he's like, no, you will get what I want. Those kind of conversations. But I think the biggest part of what was demeaning to me is that she said something, and he's the only, she and Ashley Judd, I will give him credit for that, whatever that means. But he's like, that's not how it happened. But every story that I read, is, like I said, massage was his thing. So he mentioned that, and then he wants to take off his pants while she's giving a massage. Why do you need to take your pants off to get a massage? You can do that through clothes, So it was just troubling. And then she was able to escape, and that wasn't the last time he did something. And he tried to be, she invited me to a play later in life. Just because she tried to take control of the situation, because she still wants to be an actress, doesn't mean that you didn't do what you did. Right.
Let me read to everyone the statement that he did issue through his spokesperson.
Tarana Black.
Oh, you have a comment?
Tarana Burke started the Me Too movement.
Tarana Burke.
Okay.
We'll remember that.
Tarana Burke, I got it.
Who made that comment? Somebody. Oh, you looked it up? Oh, thanks. See, our producers are so awesome. You see that?
I heard her on the Tom Joyner show this week. So,
she was on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. So what was the statement?
This is a statement that he made through his spokesperson.
Okay.
After Lupita did this op-ed, right?
Okay.
She says, Weinstein has a different recollection of events, but believes Lupita is a brilliant actress, a major force for the industry. Last year, she sent a personal invitation to Mr. Weinstein to see her in a Broadway show, Eclipsed. Here is the statement he issued with regard to all 40 other women. Just one statement that was issued.
All 40 other white women?
White women, yes. Okay. 40 other white women. Weinstein said, any allegations of non-consensual sex are unequivocally denied by Mr. Weinstein.
Right. So no names.
No names.
But I guess he thought, it's kind of that backhanded compliment. It's kind of like, because he said, oh, she's a great actress, and she invited me to a play, but she's lying. I mean, that's what he just said.
Yeah, because I feel that he's calling her a liar.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we had some interaction, but I think you've made this all up in your head.
Right. Which, there's so much that can be said about, because unfortunately, I feel like African-American women, a lot of times our voice is said, and we say something, and then people don't want to hear it. It's not as loud. We have something to gain. She has nothing to gain from doing that. But she needs to say something to empower others to make sure that they also will feel like their voice is heard. And another thing, it's just kind of like, oh, we're good for the, you can take us out after hours, but not in main light. So that's kind of the continual, theme that continues to happen, but it needs to stop. It's 2017.
Yeah. Last week on the Sunday edition, when we talked about Weinstein, we had the Revolution on, and we were talking about, like, how did this all come out now? Why is this, like, you're seeing a man being destroyed, right? And what did it take? And he made some comments about it being white women A-list actresses. And then I think we got into a conversation about what if this were a black woman. And we pulled that clip about that. If we could run that clip of the Revolution commenting on this, go right ahead.
I think we're seeing action.
Okay.
And I think that we're going to see a lot more, and I want to say why.
Why?
Because this is happening to white women.
Okay.
Okay.
This is happening
Why
to
does
white
that matter?
Oh, it matters. Oh, it matters. Listen, if this were, first of all, black women are marginalized regardless, right?
Regardless.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If a black actress, if this started because of a black actress, I'm not saying it would have been buried,
Mm-hmm.
but it would not have gotten to the level that it is now.
How crazy is it that just last week when he's like, if this had been a black woman coming out, I don't think it would have been buried, but it just wouldn't have been taken as seriously. And then not even a week later, Lupita does this huge op-ed, and we're seeing exactly what he just said, where it's like, disregard the black girl. Yeah, like what? Like, it really makes me feel as if, you know, I don't want to say like embarrassed that you were trying to holler at a black girl, or you don't want your colleagues to know that you was trying to get it on with a black girl.
Like black girls and big girls. So I'm black and a big girl. So people act like they don't want me. But I know they do. But it's usually behind closed doors. And it's the same thing. It's like, but I'm beautiful behind closed doors, in front of closed doors, with clothes, without. So that's the same thing that I think that's happening with them. It's like, oh no, I couldn't want her. And yes, you did. You know you wanted some. The black of the berry.
Okay, we have a comment, producer.
From Rhonda Bernice. So sad he used his privilege to get away with this for so long. The slave masters from his lineage must have been 7 kinds of awful.
Oh, listen, that's another thing. You know, like we have this concept of like almost like the, what do they say, like bed wench, like black women being the bed wench, like you're only good for this one thing type of thing. And I actually was, when I was looking for clips for today, I saw this comment on YouTube, and we have a shot of that. They can put that up on screen. But the comment literally was, "This black chick is lying. You bed wench. You ain't nothing but this. You're a sexual predator. You're a like," and literally went in on how she had to have fabricated this, and the only rationale for it through the comment was because she was black.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem. For whatever reason, and people thinking that that's all we have to offer. She's and she's shown him, you know, I've been successful without you, so I don't need you, and I don't need you to do that. I want to just be successful. I want to glean from the knowledge you have, because you are. I mean, you're Harry Weinstein, Wiener, whatever. At this point, calling him by his name is too much.
Okay.
So, but you know, she understands that. And I think as African Americans, we understand when people are successful in their field, and we want the knowledge too, because we're trying to move ahead. It's not that I don't want to give you my body to be successful, because I have the skills above that. And I think that's what she was trying to do. And she tried in other scenarios, take her classmates to go with her, and then she felt comfortable, and then went back again by herself, and he played her again at a restaurant. Like he's like, okay, great, we're in a restaurant. Right. He's like, oh no, we have to go upstairs to the private area. And she's like, well, I don't want to do that. He's like, well, we'll be 2 ships passing in the night. And she didn't understand what that meant at that point. And once he explained, he's like, well, we're just on different pages. Well, yeah, we are. So the page that I don't want you to touch me. And yeah, it's just sad. I mean, it's for so many reasons. But and I think the other piece, I mean, just thinking about Lupita and how successful, I'm so glad that she's been successful without him. Yes. But you know she's not the first black person. I mean, you know it's not. This has just happened in the last 5 years, and he's been doing this for what, 20 years maybe?
Let's push it towards 30.
30, okay, 30. I know at least 8 settlement agreements and things of that nature. Right. So, but it's disheartening when he does call her by name, you know, as if a lot of things, and what we say a lot of times is not true. I mean, we're talking about Lupita and sexual harassment, but you think about you know, police brutality and things that happen. It couldn't happen. There's no way it could happen like that if a black person says that. Yeah. But a white person says it, or somebody you know, outside of a person of color, and it's true. It's like, no, you wouldn't be here without us. And so our words are just as powerful and strong and truthful. We have nothing to gain by bringing it down. You know, I think we more try to uplift people and things that we do, but it gets to a point where we can't, and we have to fight back with the truth, and that's all. That's that she's doing.
When you said it's disheartening that he's called her by name.
Yeah.
Well, explain a little more.
Well, I think because in not respecting her voice, and that everybody else is, I mean, some of the names, Gwyneth Paltrow, Angelina Jolie. There's a lot of other people that were mentioned, but those are the ones that Roseanne Arquette, I think, are
Patricia
Arquette. Her last name was Arquette. But and he didn't say anything. Well, if it wasn't consensual, I mean, I all my efforts were consensual, basically what he said. But for her to come out and say that and then try to blame her, it's kind of the victim blaming, as if she had something to do with it, and then turns around, well, and then she didn't obviously have a problem with me because she invited me to come to a play. Well, she'd like to think that you were rehab, that you would not continue to do this, that obviously I have a skill set without you.
Right.
And sometimes you want your haters to see, hey, look at me now. Kind of Chris Brown, I just saw his documentary, so I feel like, but look at me now. And so that's kind of what I think she was showing, like, you know what, I didn't need you. And you can kiss where the sun doesn't shine. And that's what she did.
That's what she was trying to do.
Well, he was, but we're talking about figuratively, not literally. So, but yeah. But I mean, I'm glad she used her voice. I think more people need to use their voice and be prepared for the consequences as well.
Yeah.
We don't ever get to choose the consequences, but the gift that you are given to empower others, maybe not on the level of Harry and the actresses, maybe some school teacher or some volleyball coach who volunteers and somebody's been taking advantage of them. But I think we need to be using our voice for good, and she's showing, hey, I can do that.
I agree with that. I agree with that a lot. Thank you so much, Jana.
You're welcome.
This has been a lovely conversation about this. I will say, I'm proud of Lupita for taking that time to do that. And at the same time, I realized why she had to take the time to do that. Because if she had just come out like everyone else and just say, hey, me too,
right,
it just wouldn't have been enough,
right,
because she is Black female. So with that, we're going to go straight to commercial. And when we come back, we're going to be joined by The Revolution as we go into our next topic.
Evil Corp, we are F Society. Over the years, we've been watching you. Your financial abuse of the poor, your corruption of governments, your cover-ups of the murder of innocent, ordinary citizens, all for the sake of profit. This is why we at F Society have decided you must die. We are malicious and hostile. We do not compromise. We are relentless. We will not stop until every tentacle of your evil monstrosity is sliced off at the nerve. Consider yourself warned.
to the Sunday edition. I am Trezene, and I am joined here with the Revolution.
Howdy.
And why is he doing that on camera?
Greatest revolution acknowledgement ever.
We here at FCN, there's a lot of conversations that we have off camera, and sometimes we realize that, you know, these are conversations that people are having all over, and we should put these conversations on camera and have these conversations real time and interact with our viewers. And this particular topic is definitely one of those things. We're talking about the millennials. What is a millennial? We have conversations on what generation are we? Like, you know, I feel like it's very clear for some generations, like, I don't know, baby boomers or something, but I think over the last maybe 5, 6, 7 years, what is a millennial keeps changing. And so we kind of wanted to have that conversation with you guys today. Is that an accurate summation?
Kinda. I think that you you got real clinical about it, but I think that when I proposed this to be a topic for today, I think it was because I don't want to call any names, but there's a show that I watch on YouTube by black people who are very proud of being millennials. And it's kind of like a for us, by us millennial program. And so I was like, I raised my eyebrow to that a while ago, and then seeing other topics about millennials and, you know, what makes a millennial and their personality types and things of that nature. And so I wanted to really have this dialogue with the FCN community, with the FCN family, and really talk about millennials, because there are two themes that I really want to touch on today. So you want to go ahead and...
Maybe.
Okay.
So I think one of the things is, you know, what is a millennial, right?
Right.
And then does that really encompass blacks? Are we really included in that category? Is that an accurate summation? Did I do? No? Yes?
Okay, well, that's something I wanted to touch on after the fact, right? So here's the thing about millennials, right? So first and foremost, the term millennials keeps switching, right? So the generational gap that is millennials originally was from like 1980 or 1979, something like that, until 90 something, like so.
Late 90s.
Until the late 90s. So the people that, you know, that think they're millennials is supposed to be right there. Then I heard it's 84 until sometime in the late 90s, right?
Right.
So, this is the theme that I want to talk about, right? And so the millennials are seen as people who are the participation award generation.
Yes, the trophy generation.
The part just for showing up.
Yes.
The generation of people that are told you can be anything that you want to be, right? You can be anything that you want to be, right? And you get a trophy for everything, and you know they're coddled. They're being raised in a certain way that they weren't being raised a generation ago. And they get out into the real world and they don't have the soft skills that they need moving forward. These people live on their cell phones. All of their relationships are here.
Yes.
Whether it's familiar, platonic, or otherwise, that they are what I consider to be complete and total snowflakes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think that the millennials are the snowflakes that we're talking about.
Yes, explain.
Explain. Well, it's just that they do not know how to handle stress because they've never been put through anything, because people are always shielding them from every situation. Mommy and daddy has coddled them. No one has spanked them. No one has chastised them. They believe that the world owes them something, and they are inherently, with that type of behavior, entitled. And so when they do not get what they want, they start to melt because they're snowflakes. Once the heat turns up, they melt. They are snowflakes. As opposed to us, I tell you, I'm a I'm a asphalt rock. I'm a dirty little asphalt rock. I just crumble, but I ain't melting. I might break off the street, but hey, I ain't melting, Jack. I'm just a little asphalt rock, you know. Mm-hmm. And go ahead. You seem like you have something you want to question.
No. I think I was just processing the melting, and even if you might crumble, you're still there.
Oh yeah, I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. And what that really means for millennials, when you melt away, how do you even recover from that? I think that's where I was, because
that's the thing. You can't even the millennials have the highest suicide rate of any generation before them. You have.
Ramona Nichelle says the Caillou generation.
Oh, the Caillou. Oh my God, that is
Caillou
so
generation.
Good. Thank you, Ramona. That is
Mona. With the come through, the Caillou, that big head Canadian Mickey Ficky Caillou, man. Let me tell you something. I hate big head Caillou. But you know what's funny? She has a great point. Most of them behave like Caillou.
Yes.
And the parents, oh, Caillou, just mom,
Oh my God, he was awful.
He was awful. And I have to work with a whole bunch of Cailloux, right? But see, here's the thing that I don't like about millennials, right? Here's the one thing I don't like about millennials. They pretend as if they have lived in technology and they understand this world better than us. And I want to say this. I think that there are a group of people who were born between 1976 and 1982 that I believe are the lost generation.
Okay, explain what you mean by that.
So there's a group of people, I happen to be in that category, right? I don't believe that when I was coming up, we were known as Generation Y.
Okay, right.
Right? We were after X.
Okay. So there's boomers, X, and then...
No. The greatest generation, boomers, X, Y, and millennials. But they deleted Y. Like, Y is deleted.
Okay.
But I remember very
clearly
that there was a Y. Right? And so I want to say that we're just like the Korean War, we're the forgotten generation, right? So there's a group of people who are not Generation Xers who, you have to understand, we were the generation that really bridged the gap between analog and digital.
Yes, very
so
much so.
I don't know why, millennials believe that they're the only ones who grew up with technology. I grew up with every game system.
Right.
I grew up knowing what caller ID and call waiting
and what it was like not having
but it was only a short window though. It was a very short window. So you have to understand, the majority of my life I have lived in the exact same technology bubble that you have lived in. So, do not act like you're superior to us. And I think that we are the forgotten generation. Like, it's X, it's us in a 6-year gap who don't fit in either category.
That's right.
And then you have the millennials.
I agree with that, because when you look at the traditional definition of millennial, I'm like, there's no way in the world I can be in the same generation as my teenage daughter. There's no way in the world. We come from two very different places. And so when you talk about a lost generation, I'm like, I can see that, because I also don't belong over here. I was born in the very early 80s. What? Just don't make that face. But they try to lump that into the millennials. But at the same time, it's also defined as when my daughter was born. There's no way in the world that we can be in that same category.
So let me ask you a question. How are your generations so different? Give me something that makes your generation, yours and your daughter, so different.
I believe it is social media. We talked about this earlier, and I was talking about the smartphone and the use of it in social connecting. I really believe that's what really separates me from her in that, because we know what it was like to play outside. We know what it was like, even though we had Game Boys and Nintendos, we still connected with each other in a very different way. The phone, or you go outside, or you knew to just hang outside so that everyone came out. It was not so much into this social media, social connecting world.
There was an article that came out in June that gave us a name. Called the Zennials.
The Zennials?
Zennials.
So like
combining the two.
Between 77 and 83
were Zennials.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. I'm a Zennial. I'm a Zennial. Okay, that's cool.
That's interesting.
That's cool. Okay, so here's what I want to say. To that, right? Ain't nothing new under the sun.
That's right.
Okay.
Right.
First and foremost, like we all talk about that they're the Netflix generation, the streaming media generation,
Yes,
right?
the
That they can sit at
on-demand
home.
generation.
Right. What did I do on Fridays? I didn't have Netflix and chill, but I had video rental store and chill. I went to the video rental store. I got my movie, and I went home. And
Got a pizza.
I got a pizza and I chilled out. It's the same thing. It's not new. It's just the apparatus, you know, that the social people went to a club. They went to the roller rink. The social people went somewhere to interact with people like them. And I think that this generation, all the snowflakes have some place to go and interact. Yeah.
Ramona has a couple more comments.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Millennials love to be openly accessible, whereas we're a more private generation. Give them a smartphone and give us a pager. Call you back when I feel like it.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I call you back when I feel like it. That's true.
That's real.
You know, so I'll leave it at that. And that's a very good point. Did you have something else?
No. I think just really defining where those are, and even hearing from her, the Zennials. I really do like that label over that group that just kind of, you know, doesn't really fit in either. But I guess I do have another question of what traits we might be taking from each group. So are there Zennials who might be a little more millennially?
Yes.
And are there Zennials who might be a little more Xy?
Yes. I believe there are two groups within the Zennials, right?
Okay.
It's just like that one mixed friend that you got. You know, it's two mixed people.
Yes.
It's two types of mixed people out there, right? It's mixed where you be like, you mixed? You just look like an old nappy-headed, light-skinned black person, right? And then it's like, oh, yeah, you black? Oh, I thought you was something else.
Something else.
Right?
Right.
It's the same. Two people, like, I think a lot of people don't know. I don't want to get off into a tangent. But you know that guy on Mad TV? I want to give you an idea. The Phil Lamar guy, the one that used to be real hyper, jumping around, the UPS guy?
Yes.
He's mixed. His father is Scottish.
I had no idea.
His mother is Nigerian. And I'm talking, he looked like, you know, swing low, sweet chair. He looked like cotton picking Negro. He don't look like he got, man, that cracker gene didn't do nothing for him. I'm sorry. Y'all know I'm part white. Stop that. Don't act that way, my white fans. Don't do that. But it's those types of people, right? That's one is passing and one is clearly the other, right?
Right.
So I believe that the Zennials who listen to the hip trap music, who dress in the latest fashions to keep up with their younger counterparts are the ones that are passing. It's the moms that had kids as teenagers in the 90s, right? Who are still trying to hold on to their youth, and they're muffin topping in their jeans.
I hate muffin topping.
They muffin like you know.
I hate
listen,
the muffin topping.
Honey, I don't want to call no names, but I'm sure a few of y'all watching, okay? You're muffin topping, okay? You're 38 years old and you squeezing your big ass into them pants that your little chubby daughter can't even wear, and she shouldn't wear. I'm gonna need you to take them off and dress appropriately. Dress like a for real Zennial.
Yes, like
get on the other side of
There's
the
a reason
extras.
why our pants are made a little more high-waisted.
Yeah. Oh, don't wear no mom jeans now. Don't come to with a zipper is at the navel. I can't do that. Ain't nothing sexy about mom jeans, man. You be looking like, so you just don't want me to, so you don't want, okay, I'm good.
Put you in heat.
Yeah, woo.
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Those two categories.
It's two categories. And then it's the other ones that work hard, that know that they got to go to school, that know they got to get up and go to work, that know whatever they want. Like, they know they got to do what they got to do to get it.
Okay.
And these other ones think that if they just show up or just say it, that they're entitled to that. I know people that are 35 plus, 36, 37, who act that way, who act like a millennial, who act like, well, I want this. I wrote this on my vision board. How come I can't get it? I put it out there into the universe. I watched Oprah. I listened to Deepak Chopra. How come I can't get it? I want it. I prayed for it. I asked Jesus for it. How come I can't get it? I want it. And guess what? I don't want to wait for it. I want it now. How come I can't get it?
God.
That's
so accurate, though. It's so accurate.
I mean, am I lying?
It's so accurate.
Please tell me if I'm lying.
You're not lying. I don't think people realize the incredible amount of work that goes into achieving a goal. There's nothing wrong with envisioning it and reflecting on it and thinking about it and planning, but it takes time. People always talk about overnight successes, and there's no such thing.
There's no such thing. Like Kevin Hart said, he said, my overnight success took me 10 years.
Yeah.
Took him 10 years. But with that, let me say this now. So we covered, do you all feel that we covered the ground of like have a clear idea of millennials and what they are, right?
I think so.
Do you
think so?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here's my real point that I want to make.
Yes.
Okay. What's the years of millennials again?
80s to, well, Wikipedia, 1980s through mid 1990s, early 2000s.
Okay. So let me say this. Let me make this statement very clear and very succinct. Black people born between
1980 to the 1990s, early 2000s.
Y'all black asses are not millennials. I want to be very clear here. Your black ass is not a millennial.
Now,
yes.
With that statement, because this seems very mathematical and certain, because Wikipedia made it very clear that this has nothing to do with race. It's just about the time you were born. So why are you drawing the distinction that even if you were born in this time, you do not qualify as millennial?
Black people.
Yes, why?
Black people, and I want to say this even to American people of color. If you were born here in America and like, there are exceptions to the rule, to every rule, right? But the vast majority of us, and here's why. Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Have we all heard of the term digital divide?
Yes.
Who does that apply to?
Digital divide, does it apply to everyone?
That applies to poor people. And
that's right.
And it pertains.
Anthony says the crack era.
The crack era, yes. Here's that's generation crack, so the digital divide, right? Poor people, especially minorities, who grow up in low income areas who are not accessible to technology. Right? So how far back do you believe that the digital divide, I've read anywhere between 15 and 20 years, right? There's a documentary, I can't remember the name of it, about the digital divide, and that these black kids are right now go to public schools
right now,
and they do not have access to computers.
Yes, right now.
And there was a white student that were doing engineering and robotics, and they have all this, right?
Yes, right.
So if you are 15 to 20 years behind due to the digital divide.
Yes. 15, 20 years behind.
Okay, so how is your generation without a net? Thank you. That's the name of the documentary. It's called Without a Net. So if you are inherently 15 to 20 years behind, that pushes you out of being a millennial. Oh, whoa. I'm not done yet.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I'm not done yet.
Other stuff.
I'm not done yet. So you have the digital divide, right? What are all the social justice warriors fighting for?
Equality on a number of bases.
On a number of bases.
Economic.
Okay.
Social.
Okay.
Like all kinds of areas.
Okay, so what you're telling me now is that black people aren't even footing with their white counterparts?
Right, on other main issues.
On main issues.
Main issues.
Okay, so socio-political,
economic,
health,
all
number
kinds
of things.
Of stuff.
Okay, so that probably puts us a footing back of how many years?
Many decades.
Many decades. Okay, so you got the digital divide. You don't have equality for us, right? Okay, how about Jim Crow era?
Yeah.
How about Jim Crow era? We live to talk about how far ahead. So if we were just to take all of that math, right, and we put it together, how far of a head start do you give white people?
A huge one.
From the 1600s to now, how far apart are blacks and whites in America? How many years do you believe that we're apart?
Many.
Give me a knee jerk.
Oh God.
Knee jerk. Just 150. Yeah, I would easily say that's probably the median. It's about 150. So, with that being said, how is your black ass on the same footing to call yourself a millennial? You are not. We are not in the same league as them. Why is it that we always have to place ourselves where they are? Why is it that we always want a seat at their table with their terminology, with their labels? Like, why do we have to get empowered through them? We are decades behind. Like, let's just, and I know people are going to get upset with me. Can you stop? The producers asked you to stop leaning to your left.
I'm so sorry, guys.
I'm just saying, man.
I'm so sorry, guys.
They keep telling your weird ass to stop leaning left, and you keep doing it. Like, I'm like, what? They told her like 3 times, stop leaning to your left. I can walk into bubblegum. Somebody give me a direction. Somebody give me stage direction right now.
Look stage left now.
I feel like I'm in a hostile work environment at this moment.
Now, front.
I do not feel safe.
Okay. Take direction.
You're supposed to talk at the same time.
Oh, I was supposed to talk? Oh, okay. Well, I can always do that. My fault, sir.
So what it sounds like to me is it is crazy and irrational to present yourself as entitled, as a trophy kid, as a I should have this, when it is clear on many other levels that we haven't been entitled to a thing.
How can you if you are still asking to not be shot and killed and to be profiled?
Right.
Like, it doesn't, listen.
That does not
and
go.
guess who's in charge of all of this? I asked you a question. How old is D-Ray?
Yeah, somebody pull that up because I don't know.
How old is D-Ray? Listen, all the people out there screaming and mad, all the blacks that are mad, because I want to talk about this. All the black social justice warriors, I guarantee you, are categorizing themselves as millennials.
Yes, yeah, they are.
Right?
They are.
Because anybody in my little zennials, and we know better. We know what world we live in. I lived in the area where you didn't go to this part of town because you knew the white folks would roust you.
Right.
You knew it.
Right.
You knew the police would roust you.
Right.
You knew it.
Right.
So they believe that somebody told them, you can be anything you want. Don't let nobody stop you. You can be. And then Barack Obama comes in office, and I keep telling people, if Barack looked less like Will Smith and more like Don Cheadle, would he have become president?
No, the answer is an overwhelming
What
no.
platform did he run on originally? He ran on them white grandparents. And y'all, listen,
Yes.
I grew up with my grandparents who lived in the greatest generation of all time. They lived in World War II. And the tutelage and the tools that they gave me and the lessons learned from my grandfather, who was a World War II veteran, helped me to become everything that you see today. That was Barack Obama. And they were like, yes, white people. He was raised by white people. Let's vote for him. He looks non-threatening. He is vanilla ice milk. He ain't gonna hurt my stomach. He is not real ice cream. I am lactose intolerant.
I can't.
I am lactose intolerant. I can't have no heaping helping of nigga. Give me vanilla ice milk. That ain't gonna hurt my stomach.
So funny.
Yes, vote for him. Vote for him.
But yeah, but when he's running for president, though, it all changes. It's all.
Look at this backlash that let's look at this. And man, you get one black in power, and they lost their mind. Well, I had to be listening to Barack Obama for 8 years. They all voted for Trump, and this is the thing. Y'all all voted for Barack.
Right.
Why couldn't we vote? They literally voted for a person who wasn't qualified just because we voted for a black person that arguably was qualified. He was qualified to be president. Yeah. Do I think Hillary was more qualified? Yes. I think she was more qualified than him. I always said that I didn't think he should have been president. I didn't think we were ready for it. I got into it with my mom. Mom, are you out there? You can tell everybody. She's watching. I got into it with my mother. She was like, well, if not now, then when? I said, when white people learn to leave us alone. And everything that I said came to fruition. Right. You just played a clip where I said something about Harvey Weinstein. And then it happened.
Yes.
And here's the problem. Black folks, stop it. Stop. Look, you weren't entitled this future of being included in everything that they do. They still don't want to see you in their spaces.
That's right.
Get over that. Listen, let me say this. I know you guys may think I'm all over the place, but I'm sorry. I really am. But I'm really passionate about this. So here's my thing, right? Stop moving. Stop taking your good job. I got me a good job. I went to a good school. Now I got me a good job. Now I'm going to take my good job money and I'm going to go live out there with the white people, right? So now you're taking your good job and your good money and you're putting it into their system. Okay?
Right.
So you are empowering their government, their police, their school systems. Did you see the picture of the little girl where they were doing colonial times? Anybody see that?
No, I didn't see
And
that.
they had this little girl on her knees, and they had two white kids holding a leash, and they were taking a picture. She was on her knees, and they had a leash around her neck.
Oh, God.
See, and this is the thing, though. These are people that want to be millennials because you were bused. You were allowed to go to these white schools, so you feel like you got the better education. You feel like because you were rubbing elbows with them, that you are them. That you are magical, that you are what? A snowflake. An individual, crystallized, beautiful object, unique, and you're not. You are still a little broken, jagged, dirty piece of asphalt. I'm asphalt. You wrapping it up? Where we going? We going to commercial? Oh, we done. What we doing?
Yeah, but we're done?
We done?
Already?
I'm not saying done.
What's happening?
President running the show.
What?
You need to take a
You're
break.
in charge.
Oh.
Yeah, but you like wrap it up, cut it off.
You guys are long-winded.
Oh, excuse you.
Oh.
Oh my
On
goodness.
break, are we done?
No, let's
I
go
don't
to,
know.
let's go
Nobody
to,
has a floor. Who's leading this floor here?
I don't know.
Okay.
I had a
Is there
follow-up
anyone-
to what he said, and now I forgot it.
You know?
I couldn't find a date of birth.
On D-Ray?
Find a year.
See, that's funny right there. Like, we can't find a D.O.B. on D-Ray. That whole...
Well, then wrap it up then. I'm going to be like Migos. Well, then wrap it up.
Wrap it up.
Then wrap it up.
Listen, hey, if you're out there watching or... yeah. Ramon,
Wrap it up.
can they see me on camera with his broad shoulders all in the camera? What? They can see you. Okay, can you move,
What you want
please?
to do then?
Oh, my God.
So wrap it up then.
I can't work under these conditions. I can't. Listen, that's it for the Sunday edition. If you have additional comments and you want to continue this conversation, please place your thoughts in the comments. We're always checking it. It comes through our phones. We will continue to engage with y'all on this topic or the topic with Weinstein and Lupita Nyong'o. With that, we are out. We will see you tomorrow. Oh, tonight. We have a couple of shows tonight, by the way. We have Millions and Millions coming on tonight. We have the Walking Dead pregame show that is premiering tonight. And then, of course, on Monday at 7 p.m.-ish, we will... Oh, my God. Like, I'm going to a different network where the producers and people aren't up in the camera. Anyway, we will see y'all tomorrow, Prime News at 7 p.m.-ish. So, with that, we'll see. Oh, my God, I'm out of here. Bye, y'all.
Leave President alone. Bye.